It was supposed to be the defining moment of the 20th century, a triumph for mankind. But some say that what we saw on July 20th, 1969, wasn't reality. It was something far more sinister, something designed to deceive. It was supposed to be the defining moment of the 20th century, a triumph for mankind. But some say that what we saw on July 20th, 1969, wasn't reality. It was something far more sinister, something designed to deceive. As millions watched Armstrong's giant leap, not everyone was convinced. Was the U.S. government trying to pull off the greatest con in history? Or was there something more to this story than we've been told? The first cracks in the official story came from those willing to ask uncomfortable questions. Why did the flag appear to wave when there's no wind on the moon? And why were the shadows in the photos all wrong? What was NASA hiding? But the evidence didn't stop there. Was the footage of the moon landing merely a product of Hollywood magic? Some have argued that the lighting, the flag, the shadows, everything about the landing seemed staged. In a world gripped by Cold War tension, the space race was not just about science, it was about dominance. And with the Soviets hot on their heels, the U.S. had every reason to fake a victory in the most public way possible. After Apollo 11, the landings continued. But with every step, more and more questions were raised. How could the U.S. keep pulling off such a massive deception? Or were the Apollo missions truly the triumphs they appeared to be? The government denied it all, calling the moon landing hoax theories nothing more than delusions. But the more they denied, the more the skeptics pressed. Was the truth being hidden in plain sight? What would drive an entire nation to fake the most significant achievement in human history? Was it really just about winning the space race? Or was there something more? Something much darker hiding behind the scenes? So, after all the evidence, all the questions, and all the doubt, we're left with one simple truth. Some mysteries may never be solved, but as long as the questions remain, the conspiracy lives on. Was the moon landing a triumph of human ingenuity or a carefully constructed illusion? The answer might just be out there, waiting for those brave enough to keep searching. Because, when it comes to conspiracy theories, nothing is ever truly what it seems. The debate over the moon landing didn't just stay in the shadows, it spilled out into the open. A battle of words between experts who say it's real and those who believe it's an elaborate lie. And each side has their proof. The most iconic moment from the moon landing was the American flag. But according to skeptics, the way it moves raises serious questions. How could a flag wave when there's no wind on the moon? Could it be a product of stagecraft rather than outer space? In every photo from the lunar surface, shadows are cast in ways that defy the laws of physics. If the sun is the only light source, why do the shadows seem to fall in different directions? Some argue the only explanation is artificial lighting, like what you'd find on a movie set. In the 1960s, technology was primitive compared to what we have today. The computers were less powerful than modern-day calculators, and the spacesuits were bulky and restrictive. How could we have possibly made it to the moon with this technology? Some say we couldn't have. The Van Allen radiation belts are a region of deadly radiation surrounding Earth. The question is, could the Apollo astronauts have passed through them without dying? With no shielding, how did they survive such extreme conditions? When you look at the photos from the moon landing, the sky is pitch black. No stars, no constellations. But on Earth, the night sky is full of stars. Why then is there not a single star visible on the lunar surface? The theories say that NASA didn't just send astronauts to the moon. Instead, they used Hollywood's best directors, the most advanced technology, and the grandest sets to pull off the biggest illusion ever seen. Could the greatest scientific achievement of our time have been filmed on Earth? Moon rocks, considered irrefutable proof of the Apollo missions, have mysteriously disappeared. Some were stolen, some were lost. And while a few remain, Could the rocks have been planted here on Earth instead? The moon landing hoax is not just about space, it's about trust. If the government lied about one of the biggest moments in human history, what else have they lied about? For many, this theory is about more than space. It's about finding the truth in a world full of hidden agendas. The truth, it seems, may forever be elusive. Whether the moon landing was real or a fabrication, one thing is certain: some mysteries are too big to leave behind. The questions will continue, and the theories will persist. The moon may be far away, but the search for truth is just beginning. The famous moon landing footage has been restored multiple times, yet some claim that the original tapes were mysteriously erased, while others argue that the odd glitches and distortions in the footage could be signs of something far more deliberate. When the astronauts returned to Earth, their behavior seemed strange. Some argue that the way they acted in interviews, the tight-lipped responses, they felt rehearsed. Were they hiding the truth about what they really experienced? The lunar modules, once essential to the moon landings, have disappeared from public view. Why are they hidden away in secret locations? Could they be kept out of sight to prevent further questions from being raised? Today, the debate has gone viral. The moon landing hoax theory is not just a fringe idea, it's mainstream. With documentaries, YouTube channels, and countless forums devoted to questioning the official story, the idea that the moon landing was a hoax has captured the world's attention more than ever. The media, in all its power, played a massive role in selling the moon landing as truth. But was the media complicit in a massive cover-up, or were they simply swept up in the excitement of the space race? Some say the media's unquestioning coverage gave no room for doubt. The Apollo missions were groundbreaking until Apollo 13 nearly ended in tragedy. Then, suddenly, after Apollo 17, NASA seemed to pull the plug on the program. Could the true reason be linked to the dangers of space? Or was the real reason much more earthbound? Some suggest the truth was too dangerous to continue. Some of the most critical data from Apollo 11 has vanished, gone without a trace, and access to what remains is heavily restricted. Why were these pieces of history erased? Could they have contained secrets that were better left hidden? Rumors persist of a top-secret mission, Apollo 20. This mission, never officially acknowledged, supposedly traveled to the moon and discovered strange alien artifacts. But was it a real mission, or simply a fabrication to further the conspiracy narrative? The Apollo mission was watched by billions of people worldwide. But could the U.S. government have pulled off such a massive hoax without the help of other global players? Some argue that the entire world may have been in on it, and that the space race wasn't just about science. It was about controlling the narrative. The moon landing hoax theory has not only endured, it's thrived. As technology advances, new details and angles continue to emerge. In today's world of online research and conspiracy podcasts, the truth, or the myth, is more alive than ever. The camera angles from the moon landing are perfect. Too perfect. How was the shot of Neil Armstrong's first step captured if there wasn't a camera operator on site? Critics argue that the perfect framing and focus indicates something far more calculated than mere chance. On Earth, dust behaves differently, but on the moon, where gravity is much weaker, it doesn't kick up as we would expect. The dust seems to fall slowly, almost unnaturally. Could this be a sign that the moon's surface was not as real as we were led to believe? One of the most curious details in the photos from the Apollo missions is the reflection in the astronaut's visor. Critics argue that this reflection shows something that shouldn't be there. Could it be the shadow of a stagehand or equipment from the set? Could this be evidence of a fabrication? In 2006, it was revealed that the original Apollo 11 landing tapes were erased by NASA. Why would they destroy such a pivotal piece of history? Was it an innocent mistake, or did those tapes contain something that needed to stay hidden? The lunar rovers used during the Apollo missions were groundbreaking, yet the technology behind them seems more advanced than what was available at the time. And since the moon landings, we've never sent anything quite like it again. Why the sudden disappearance of such revolutionary technology? 36. The Soviet Union, America's rival in the space race, never publicly denounced the U.S. for faking the moon landing. Some argue this silence was strategic. Perhaps the Soviets knew the truth. Did they have evidence, or was this part of a larger Cold War-era deception? NASA has worked tirelessly to maintain its reputation, often under intense scrutiny, but in defending the mission so vigorously, could they be obscuring a deeper truth? Could it be that in their efforts to protect their legacy, they've hidden something far bigger? 38. On Apollo 11, a computer bug nearly ended the mission. Was it just a technical glitch, or was this bug a cover-up? Some skeptics argue it could have been a signal that something was wrong, something much bigger than a simple malfunction. Some conspiracy theorists believe that the U.S. knew more about the moon than they ever revealed. Could there have been a hidden lunar base, an outpost that existed long before the Apollo missions? And if so, why has this theory never been officially acknowledged? Could the moon landing hoax be part of a global conspiracy? A network of governments, scientists, and organizations all united to keep the secret? The deeper you dig, the more tangled the web becomes. Who really controls the truth? The truth may never be known, and perhaps that's what makes this conspiracy so compelling. As we look up at the moon, we're left wondering, was the landing real, or was it staged for the world to believe? The choice is yours to make. The American flag stands as a symbol of victory on the moon, but how could it be waving when there's no air on the lunar surface? Some experts claim that the flag's motion is an indicator that something wasn't quite right. Could it have been rigged for effect, or is it proof of a larger cover-up? The Van Allen radiation belts are no joke. Astronauts would have had to pass through these deadly zones to reach the moon. Yet, NASA insists that the Apollo crews emerged unscathed. Could the radiation have been avoided, or is this yet another impossible detail in the official story? One of the most curious anomalies in the Apollo footage is the strange behavior of lunar shadows. On Earth, shadows are predictable, but on the moon, they appear to defy the laws of physics. Are these signs of a poorly staged set, or could it indicate something far more mysterious? In most of the photos taken on the moon, the sky appears black, without a single star in sight. Given the clear atmosphere on the lunar surface, shouldn't the stars be visible? Some argue that the absence of stars in the photos is a glaring oversight, one that raises serious doubts about the authenticity of the mission. The footprints left on the moon's surface by Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin are impressively detailed. Too detailed for an environment with no wind or rain. Some theorists suggest that these perfect prints are evidence of a set that was carefully prepared in advance. Could the footprints be part of a staged production? After the success of Apollo 17, NASA abruptly ceased lunar missions. Was this due to budget constraints, or is there a more sinister reason behind this sudden halt? Some believe that the true purpose of the Apollo program was never to reach the moon, but to stage a monumental deception. Once the world was convinced, the program was shut down for good. With the advent of documentaries, YouTube channels, and conspiracy podcasts, the moon landing hoax has evolved from a niche theory to a full-fledged movement. As more people dive into the evidence, new questions arise, and the story of what happened in 1969 becomes murkier with every passing year. What if the Apollo astronauts discovered more than just lunar rocks? Could they have stumbled upon evidence of alien life, structures, artifacts, or even signs of extraterrestrial visitors, and been ordered to keep it a secret? Some believe the real reason NASA hasn't returned to the moon is because of what they discovered there. Was the moon landing the crowning moment of human achievement, or was it a carefully orchestrated piece of theater to win the space race and secure national pride? As we sift through the evidence and dissect every detail, we must ask ourselves, what do we truly believe? The moon landing debate may never have a definitive answer. It's up to you, the viewer, to decide. Do you believe humanity truly set foot on the moon, or is the truth far more elusive? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into history's most shocking mysteries.